Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Chess for Beginners. I'm Lauren Goodkind, your good and kind host. So, yesterday I was gonna tell you a funny story about Stalemate, and I'm gonna tell you the story right now. So, about 2 weeks ago, I went to a chess tournament in Irvine, California. If you don't know where Irvine, California is, it's in the Los Angeles area. During the third round, I was playing against a 2000 rated player. And the game was really tough. He was really good. I got into a cramped position, so my position wasn't the best, but I decided to just fight. And we got into the end game, and he was up 2 pawns. So I was in losing position. So I wasn't too happy about that. But if you're in losing position, you always want to continue to play because you don't know what's going to happen. So what happened was I had only 2 minutes on my clock. And again, if you run out of time, most likely you're going to just lose the time. So I was in time pressure, and my opponent, he had 30 minutes on his clock. The position was very interesting. He was up 2 pawns. We both had knights, and my king it was blockading his pawn, so he could not promote his pawn to a queen. And what happened was, it was his move, and he moved his knight to check my king. And my knight was forced to take his knight. And after he took my knight with his king, guess what? My king couldn't go anywhere, and my pawns couldn't move. So it was stalemate. He accidentally stalemated me. So that was a huge surprise for him. He could have easily avoided the stalemate. Again, he had 30 minutes. Again, if he took his time to ask himself, if I moved my knight to check my king, what would happen next? He could easily see the stalemate, but he just moved it. So that's why I'm telling my students, if you want to avoid stalemates or um, other big mistakes, you got to think ahead. Think what will happen next. So that's what happened to me. I got stalemated, but again, I remember about 10 years ago, I accidentally stalemated my opponent too. And I will tell you that story tomorrow. And then today, I'm going to talk about a very interesting position, and enjoy. Okay, here's the position. Let's check it out. White has 4 pawns. White also has a king here. And black has no pawns. Black also has a bishop here. And black's king is here. It is black to move. And if you notice, this pawn is not protected. So black decides to just take this pawn. It seems like a really good move, right? Yeah, it does. Okay, it is white to move. And actually, taking the pawn was not a good idea. It's a poison pawn. You might ask me what a poison pawn is, and it means that taking the pawn is not a good idea. So if you were white, what would the best move be? look at this bishop. This bishop can go here, and this bishop can go to any of these squares on this diagonal. So what white wants to do is to trap the bishop. How can white trap the bishop? Let's think about it. We don't want this bishop from going to any of these squares. So how can we prevent this bishop from going to these squares? The very next move. The best move is to move the pawn to g3. I hope this makes sense now. Look, this pawn move prevents the bishop from controlling these squares. This bishop is just trapped now. This bishop can't go here because the king is just going to take it. Okay, and it is back to move. Well, the bishop can't really do much, so I'm just going to go ahead and move the king. Okay, it is white to move, and what do you think the best move is? Again, we want to move this king to a square where we can attack the bishop. The right move is to move the king to this square. Okay, do you get it? This king now is attacking this bishop, and it is back to move. Now, this bishop is trapped, and since the bishop is lost, this bishop might as well just capture a pawn. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Okay, it is white to move, and I hope the move is obvious. We should take the bishop. Should we take the bishop with the pawn or the king? Our best bet is to capture it with the king. The reason why it's best to take the bishop with the king is because the pawns, or two pawns, both of them are still connected. And that's what you want. This pawn is protecting this pawn. So pawns like to stick together. If we took the bishop with our pawn, then the pawns would be separated, and that wouldn't be a good thing. Again, since white is up 2 pawns, white should win in this position. So the lesson of this video is black should not have taken the pawn on h2 because it was a poison pawn. And white took advantage of that by moving the pawn to g3, and that trapped the bishop. And white is now winning. If you have any questions about this video, please comment below, and if you like my videos, please subscribe. And if you want to learn anything about chess, please let me know. Thank you so much for watching.